How the economy actually works. Cold open. Why is your rent rising? Why can a company report record profits while laying off workers? Why does increasing interest rates make mortgages more expensive, but sometimes help bring inflation down? And why can an economy grow on paper while millions of people still feel worse off? These questions seem unrelated, but underneath them is the same system. Billions of people making choices with limited time, limited money, limited resources, and incomplete information. That system is economics. By the end of this video, you will understand how scarcity creates choices, how prices coordinate markets, how banks create money, why economies expand and contract, what governments actually do, and why every economic solution creates a new trade-off. And we can understand almost all of it through one ordinary object, a cup of coffee. Part 1. Economics begins with scarcity. Before coffee reaches your table, somebody needs land to grow it, workers to harvest it, machines to process it, fuel to transport it, a building to sell it, and time to prepare it. Every one of those resources is limited. The farmer has limited land, the cafe has limited seats, the worker has limited hours, and you have limited money. But human wants are much larger than the resources available to satisfy them. That is scarcity. Scarcity does not mean that absolutely nothing exists. It means we do not have enough resources to produce everything everyone wants, exactly when and where they want it. Because resources are scarce, choices become unavoidable. A farmer can use land to grow coffee, cocoa, rice, or something else. A government can spend money on hospitals, schools, roads, defense, or debt payments. You can spend 20 euros on coffee and lunch, save it, invest it, or use it to pay a bill. Choosing one option means giving up another. Economists call the value of the best alternative you give up your opportunity cost. The real cost of buying a 10 euro lunch is not merely 10 euros. It is whatever else those 10 euros could have done for you. And the real cost of watching this video is the best alternative use of the next 18 minutes. Economics therefore starts with one powerful question. What are we giving up to get what we choose? Part 2. Incentives shape behavior. Imagine the cafe pays every employee exactly the same amount, whether they serve 5 customers or 50. Some employees may still work extremely hard. Others may realize that extra effort produces no extra reward. Now imagine the cafe introduces a bonus for fast service. Service may improve, but workers might also rush orders, make more mistakes, or ignore customers with complicated requests. That is the power and danger of incentives. People respond not only to what leaders say they want, but to what the system actually rewards or punishes. A tax on cigarettes may reduce smoking. A subsidy for solar panels may increase installation. A performance target may increase output. But it may also encourage people to manipulate the measurement rather than improve the real result. This is why good economic analysis does not stop at intentions. A policy can have a compassionate intention and still create damaging side effects. A business decision can have a profitable intention and still destroy customer trust. Whenever somebody proposes a new rule, reward, tax, subsidy, or target, ask, how will people change their behavior once this incentive exists? That question is more valuable than simply asking what the policy is supposed to achieve. Part 3. How markets and prices work. Now suppose customers suddenly become obsessed with coffee. At the original price, the cafe has more customers than cups available. That is a shortage. The cafe may raise its price. Some customers decide the coffee is no longer worth it. At the same time, the higher price encourages cafes to stay open longer, hire more workers, or order more beans. Demand falls along the demand curve, while quantity supplied rises along the supply curve. Eventually, the market moves toward a price where the amount buyers want is close to the amount sellers are prepared to provide. That is market equilibrium. But equilibrium does not mean that everyone is happy. It means the plans of buyers and sellers are broadly compatible at that price. Prices perform several jobs at once. They communicate scarcity. They influence consumption. They reward production. And they help decide who receives the product. If a disease destroys half the coffee harvest, the supply of coffee shifts left. At every price, less coffee is available. Unless demand falls too, the new equilibrium usually involves a higher price and a lower quantity. If scientists publish evidence that coffee dramatically improves health, demand might shift right. At every price, more people want it. The likely result is a higher price and greater production. This distinction matters. A change in the product's own price causes movement along a curve. A change in income, preferences, technology, input costs, expectations, population, or the number of sellers can shift the entire curve. Prices are therefore messages, but they are not perfect messages. A high price may signal scarcity. It may also reflect monopoly power, weak competition, taxes, regulation, misinformation, or a temporary panic. Prices contain information. They do not contain the whole truth. Part 4. When price controls create trade-offs. Suppose coffee becomes unaffordable, so the government declares that no cafe may charge more than €1 per cup. Customers celebrate. But at that price, many more people want coffee, while cafes are less willing or less able to supply it. The result may be long queues, smaller cups, lower quality, favoritism, or a black market. A maximum price below the market equilibrium is called a binding price ceiling, and it tends to create excess demand. Now imagine the government guarantees coffee farmers an extremely high minimum price. Farmers produce more coffee, but customers buy less. That can create a surplus. This does not mean every price regulation is automatically useless. A temporary emergency cap, rent stabilization rule, medicine price negotiation, or agricultural support program may pursue goals other than pure market efficiency. Some protected consumers may receive substantial benefits, but the trade-offs do not disappear. If policymakers hold prices down without expanding supply, somebody eventually pays through shortages, taxes, lower quality, waiting time, reduced investment, or restricted access. The correct question is not simply, should prices be controlled? It is, who receives the benefit, who carries the cost, what happens to supply, and is there a better way to help the intended group? Part 5. Specialization and trade. Our coffee shop does not grow its own beans, manufacture its own machines, generate its own electricity, and produce its own cups. It specializes, then it trades. Specialization allows workers, businesses, and countries to focus on activities where their opportunity cost is relatively low. That is comparative advantage. Imagine one worker can prepare either 10 coffees or 5 sandwiches per hour. Another can prepare 6 coffees or 6 sandwiches. The first worker is better at coffee production. But the deeper question is what each worker must give up. For the first worker, 1 sandwich costs 2 coffees. For the second, 1 sandwich costs only 1 coffee. The second worker therefore has the comparative advantage in sandwiches, even though the first may be faster at making coffee. By specializing and trading, they can produce more total food and drink than if both tried to do everything. The same principle operates internationally. Trade can lower prices, increase variety, spread technology, and allow countries to specialize. But the country gains does not mean every worker gains. Consumers may benefit from cheaper imports while workers in competing industries lose jobs or bargaining power. Some regions adapt quickly, others may suffer for decades. Trade creates aggregate opportunities, but institutions, education, mobility, infrastructure, and government policy influence how those gains are distributed. Trade is neither a universal enemy nor a free benefit with no victims. It is another economic trade-off. Part 6. Production, productivity, and growth. Return to our coffee shop. Its output depends on factors of production. Land includes natural resources and physical space. Labor is human effort. Capital means productive assets such as machines, buildings, software, and equipment, not merely money. Entrepreneurship combines those resources, accepts risk, and organizes production. But simply adding more workers and machines cannot explain long-term prosperity. The crucial factor is productivity. How much useful output can be produced from a given amount of input? A barista with a better machine, better training, and a more efficient layout can serve more customers per hour without working twice as long. At the national level, productivity rises through education, technology, infrastructure, better management, stronger institutions, healthier workers, and the movement of resources toward more productive activities. Productivity matters because sustainable increases in living standards require an economy to produce more value per person. A country can temporarily grow by borrowing heavily, increasing its population, exploiting natural resources, or making people work longer. But sustained improvements usually require better knowledge, tools, organization, and institutions. This is also why GDP growth and human progress are not identical. An economy can produce more while pollution increases, inequality widens, unpaid care remains invisible, and people lose leisure time. Growth tells us that measured production increased. It does not tell us everything about who benefited or whether life improved. Part 7. GDP, the economy's scoreboard. Gross domestic product, or GDP, measures the market value of final goods and services produced within a country during a given period. The word final prevents double counting. If coffee beans are sold to a processor, processed beans are sold to a distributor, and the cafe sells the final cup, we cannot simply add every transaction as though each were completely new production. We can instead measure the value added at every stage. Using the expenditure approach, GDP is expressed as consumption plus investment plus government spending plus exports minus imports. Consumption is household spending on goods and services. Investment includes business equipment, buildings, inventories, and residential construction. It does not mean purchasing an existing share on the stock market. Government spending includes government consumption and investment. Exports are domestically produced goods and services purchased abroad. Imports are subtracted because foreign production may already be included inside consumption, investment, or government spending. GDP per person can help compare average economic output across countries. Real GDP adjusts for inflation. Nominal GDP does not. But no single measure can capture health, security, freedom, environmental quality, inequality, unpaid work, or happiness. GDP is an important scoreboard. It is not the purpose of the game. Part 8. Money, banks, and credit. Barter becomes difficult when the coffee farmer wants shoes, but the shoemaker does not want coffee beans. Money solves this problem. Money acts as a medium of exchange, a unit of account, and a store of value. It allows prices to be compared and transactions to occur without matching two people's wants perfectly. Most modern money is not physical cash. It exists as deposits in bank accounts. When a commercial bank approves a loan, it generally creates a new deposit in the borrower's account. The borrower receives spending power. At the same time, the borrower receives a debt that must be repaid. Credit, therefore, brings future purchasing power into the present. Suppose the cafe borrows money to purchase a machine that doubles output. If the additional income exceeds the cost of the loan, the debt supports productive investment. But if the owner borrows repeatedly to cover permanent losses, debt may only postpone failure. Credit is neither automatically good nor automatically bad. The important questions are: what is the borrowed money financing? What income will repay it? What happens if interest rates rise? And who absorbs the loss if the borrower cannot repay? One person's debt is usually another person's financial asset. That connection is why debt problems can spread through banks, investors, businesses, households, and governments. Part 9. Interest rates, inflation, and economic cycles. When interest rates are low, borrowing becomes cheaper. Households may purchase homes and cars. Businesses may invest in factories, software, or expansion. Spending rises, and one person's spending becomes another person's income. But if total spending grows faster than the economy's capacity to produce, prices may rise broadly. That sustained increase in the general price level is inflation. Inflation is not the same as one expensive product. Coffee prices might rise because of a failed harvest, while most other prices remain stable. Inflation describes a broader decline in money's purchasing power across the economy. Central banks usually influence demand by changing short-term interest rates and financial conditions. Higher rates can reduce borrowing and spending, helping control inflation. But they can also slow investment, weaken housing markets, increase debt payments, and raise unemployment. Lower rates can stimulate demand, but they cannot instantly produce skilled workers, energy, houses, computer chips, or coffee beans. That is why inflation can come from different sources. Demand may be too strong. Supply may be disrupted. Energy or import costs may rise. Expectations may change. Wages and prices may begin reinforcing each other. When high inflation occurs alongside weak or stagnant growth, the economy faces stagflation. There is no single policy that solves every type of inflation without cost. Part 10. Credit booms and recessions. Credit can create a self-reinforcing expansion. Rising lending increases spending. Higher spending increases incomes. Higher incomes and asset prices make borrowers appear safer. Banks become more willing to lend. More lending creates even more spending. If much of that credit finances productive investment, future income may rise enough to support the debt. But if credit mainly pushes up the prices of houses, shares, or other assets, people may begin borrowing because they expect prices to keep rising. That can create a bubble. Eventually, interest rates rise, income disappoints, or asset prices stop climbing. Borrowers cut spending. Lenders become cautious. Asset prices fall. Collateral loses value. Businesses reduce investment and employment. The cycle reverses. This is why debt often amplifies economic movements. But economies do not follow a perfectly timed mechanical clock. Wars, pandemics, technology, demographics, regulation, psychology, energy shocks, government policy, and financial structures can all change the path. Debt cycles are a useful lens. They are not destiny. Part 11. Wages, profits, and market power. Labor is also traded in a market. Workers supply time, knowledge, and effort. Employers demand those services. Productivity affects wages because businesses care about the value workers help produce. But productivity is not the only force determining pay. Wages also depend on the scarcity of skills, bargaining power, unions, minimum wage laws, discrimination, location, information, working conditions, unemployment, and how easily an employer can replace a worker. A nurse may produce enormous social value while having less bargaining power than a celebrity or a senior executive. Market price and moral value are not the same thing. Profits and losses also provide information. Profit may indicate that customers value a product more than the resources used to produce it. Losses may indicate that resources could be better used elsewhere. But profit is not automatic proof that a company benefits society. A monopoly can earn profit by limiting competition. A factory can earn profit while transferring pollution costs to nearby families. A financial company can earn profit because customers do not understand the risks. Markets generate powerful signals. Good economics also asks whether those signals reflect all the real costs and benefits. Part 12. Why governments enter the economy. If markets coordinate so much activity, why do governments exist? First, governments provide public goods such as national defense and certain forms of infrastructure, where excluding non-payers is difficult, and one person's use may not significantly reduce another's. Second, governments address externalities. If a factory pollutes a river, part of its production cost is imposed on people who never agreed to the transaction. Taxes, regulation, liability rules, or tradable permits can force more of that social cost into the company's decision. Third, governments protect competition and consumers. Markets may fail when one company dominates. Sellers hide important information. Contracts cannot be enforced, or buyers lack the knowledge needed to assess risk. Fourth, governments redistribute income and provide social insurance through taxes, pensions, healthcare, unemployment support, and other programs. Fifth, fiscal policy can influence the wider economy. During a severe downturn, governments may cut taxes, increase transfers, or invest more. During an overheated economy, they may reduce deficits or withdraw support. But government action also has costs. Officials have incomplete information. Political incentives can reward short-term popularity. Regulations can protect established businesses. Subsidies can survive after their purpose disappears. Public spending can be wasteful, and debt can become difficult to sustain. Markets can fail. Governments can fail too. The real economic question is not market or government. It is, which institution is more likely to solve this particular problem under these particular conditions with the fewest harmful side effects? Part 13. Capitalism, Socialism, and the Real World. Every economic system must answer three questions. What should be produced? How should it be produced? And who should receive the output? In a market economy, prices, private property, contracts, competition, and profit play major roles. In a command economy, the state makes more production and allocation decisions directly. But almost no modern country uses a pure version of either system. Most are mixed economies. They combine private businesses and markets with public education, infrastructure, central banking, taxation, regulation, welfare programs, and state ownership in selected industries. The meaningful debate is therefore not whether a country has markets or government. It is where markets work well, where they fail, what government should do, and how power should be controlled in both business and Politics. Economics can explain the likely trade-offs. It cannot decide society's values for us. Efficiency is important. So are fairness, freedom, stability, security, and opportunity. Different people may accept different economic costs to protect different values. That disagreement is not always economic ignorance. Sometimes it is a genuine disagreement over priorities. Conclusion: the 5 questions of economic thinking. We began with 1 cup of coffee. Inside that cup were scarcity, labor, capital, international trade, prices, wages, money, credit, productivity, government, and risk. That is what makes economics powerful. It reveals the hidden connections behind ordinary life. You do not need to memorize every model to begin thinking like an economist. Start with 5 questions. First, what is scarce? Second, what is the opportunity cost? Third, what behavior do the incentives encourage? Fourth, who receives the benefits and who carries the costs? And fifth, what might happen next that the decision maker did not intend? Economics will not give you a perfect answer to every political or business problem, but it can protect you from simple answers to complicated questions. And once you understand scarcity, incentives, prices, productivity, money, and trade-offs, the economy stops looking like random chaos. It becomes a system of human choices, not a perfect machine, a human system. And that difference is the most important economic lesson of all. End screen. If this video helped you understand the economy differently, subscribe to the Economics Lens and comment with the next question you want us to examine: why prices rise, how banks create money, or why some countries become rich while others remain poor.